Just wait to see what the angels have to say this week. It's so beautiful and so powerful. So let's just get into it. I'm using a couple of decks of cards because I wanted to ask first up in detail, what is this week about, angels? So I've invoked Archangel Michael, Metatron, Jophiel, Uriel, Gabriel. And I used two different decks so we could get a really good picture. So first up, we have this gorgeous picture of Archangel Azrael. And I have to say, Azrael has been showing up a lot lately. Azrael helps us with grief, transitions, especially those that feel really difficult. And if you think about it, anything that is born into this world that is worthwhile, anything that is positive, that really brings blessings and change, is usually has a difficult passage, including a baby, right? It's not an easy process to have a baby, just as it's not an easy process to birth a book or a new business or a new beginning of any kind. And so this is what we see as the theme for this week. Azrael, in all of his beautiful power, comfort, love, and peace, he's not scary at all. He's actually incredibly loving and welcoming. Archangel Azrael is saying it's time to let go and prepare for change. And we have this beautiful image of Azrael holding a baby. Look at the golden light. Look at the infinity symbol above, which the infinity symbol is showing that the divine love never stops. Divine energy, blessings. We tend to think about good things having a time limit on them, like I'm either lucky or I'm not lucky, right? But the divine, the angels, the divine spirit always reminds us that blessings are infinite, abundance is infinite, joy is infinite. And sure, we go through the waves of change in our life. We go through times of fear and struggle, just like seasons, but the divine never changes. So I love this. Prepare for change. It's time. And they've been telling us this for a while now, that we're at this brink of a brand new beginning. And it's not just going up a step, it's like going up 7 steps. So if you've been having a hard time, you've been feeling the rough waves of change, perhaps you've had to face something difficult in order to be able to make a change. Maybe the new beginning that you're calling in has sort of concentrated everything to make you see what you need to look at so that you can literally, move. Sometimes when we are in a sticky situation or something that isn't working anymore, we've had to work our way into it. And so we have to work our way out of it, looking at the blessings, the wisdom that we've learned, the lessons. We have to, extract ourselves from something old in order to move into something new. And that's why we tend to take a long time to make that change, because we're like, oh, I'm going to have to do all these things. We can sense it deep down. But the angels are with us. They're with you every step of the way, and they're going to help you. And I can feel them saying, stop putting it off. It's okay. It's going to be okay. Whatever you feel like you're losing, you'll receive its equal and more. And I'm not talking about people, right? People have their own inherent value, but you can have just as equal joy as you can have grief, right? So remember that endings can be difficult, but new beginnings are around the corner, and that's where we're in right now. So you might still be on that bridge. The other card came from the Angel Guides deck, which is a Kyle Gray deck. It's orange. And this was the other card for the present situation this week. Us being at the beginning of July, I thought we'll put a bit more into it. And so even though we've been fighting dragons, if you like, the angels are saying this is not a time to rest on your laurels. You can rest and recharge, of course, but don't sort of, sink into it too far, because you have things to do. And so we've got this gorgeous, and this is giving me Archangel Metatron vibes. He is, he has the quiver and arrows at his back, and he's presenting you with an arrow, not to do harm, but to focus on your intentions. What are the things in your quiver? What are your intentions? What are your goals? We've come over the sort of bump, if you like, the middle of the year. Solstice did a lot of clearing for us, a lot of clarity for us as the veil thins over these times, solstice and equinox. So now it's time for you to really go for it. So he's handing you the arrow, which is like pointed at your goals. Like imagine maybe your goal is, get your book published. Point your arrow at it. Focus your intentions, your actions, your thoughts. What do you need to do? Write a list. And start moving. So the message on the card is take charge and action. Take charge and action. So this is what this week is about. Take new beginnings, acknowledging and taking charge and acting as if it's a new era. Sometimes we can get stuck in a pattern, a cycle, or a loop where we're thinking it's just going to be the same old. I've been through this 17 times before. I've struggled in my past, and this feels like it's going to be a struggle too. Well, switch that pattern off. You don't need that tape playing. You don't need that song accompanying you into the next steps. You're in a new era now, so act like it. Do you ever think when you go on holidays, for instance, or even on a weekend, you are different? And it's because you're in a new place, right? You act differently. You act as if different things can happen, and that allows for them to happen. There's an opening that happens, right? I always think to sort of meet more people when I go on my little trips away. And then I'm like, come back home and I get into my working routine and I'm not meeting people. And I'm like, well, why does it happen on holiday, but it doesn't happen? Well, it's because of my energy, right? So change your energy because you're in a new energy paradigm, a new era right now. So expect the best, expect miracles. You don't have to go down the same path again. And that's the wisdom that you're bringing in the quiver of arrows from your past. So if something is showing up again, you're like, oh yeah, I've been through this before. This always happens, or I always get a cold in this time of the year, or I always have this treatment by these type of people, or every time I ring the phone company or the bank, I get this. Cancel and delete all of those patterns and expectations and expect the best. All right, I love this for you. Okay, so I said, angels, what is the block? And we get this gorgeous card. Talk about Metatron vibes. What's going on? Orange and purple are very much associated with Metatron, but this is Seraphim Seraphisa. This is the Diana Cooper deck. And she's holding this golden orange, yellowy, it's lotus at her heart. She's holding her hand up and she's receiving source energy and she's channeling it to you. Can you feel it? Let that wash away any resistance, any old patterns, any fear, any defensiveness, especially around the heart. Because the heart chakra is, imagine it being a door. It's your receptivity chakra. If the heart chakra is closed because you're like, life's been hard lately and I'm not letting anything in because I cannot bear, any more hard stuff, you're also blocking the good stuff. So we put our energy protection from Archangel Michael around us for our protection to filter out the bad and to repel the negative vibes. And we put the angels at the four corners of our aura. But we still have to keep our heart open. Otherwise, nothing good can come in. Remember, the new era, new things are coming. We've got to welcome them. We've got to have the door open. And the message says relax and open up to source. Keep your heart open. Keep your heart open. So what do you have to do to keep your heart open? Sometimes when we ask a clear question of ourselves, our inner wisdom will throw it into our mind, into our consciousness. We'll become aware of the answer. So ask yourself, what do I need to do to keep my heart open, or to get my heart open, or reopen my heart? And don't be hard on yourself if it's being closed. There's been tough things going on, but you can't sort of go to your full potential with what is next and receive all the blessings that the angels are giving you unless your heart is open, and heart is angel energy, isn't it? They're love. That's why we cry when they come in is because, years ago when I was living in a rental and I was having my first inspection, I don't know, in other parts of the world, let me know if this happens for you, but every few months they come and have a look around, make sure you haven't done anything to it, the place, and they take pictures and what you've got to make it beautiful for when they come in, clean. And this woman, she was due at 9 a.m. or whatever, and she came through, and I was a bit nervous. And as she walked in, she just burst into tears. And I was like, oh, and she had to sit down, and I sat her on my lounge, and she started to tell me the story of stuff that was going on with her family. And we talked for a while, and she said, I'm sorry, I don't know why I cried. And I said, I do, because my home is also my healing clinic, and I work with the angels, and the angels make us cry. And she was like, oh. And it turned out that, I was able to help her with some energy suggestions, crystals, angels that actually helped her. But that's just an example of why we cry when the angels come in, because it's about love. It's the heart chakra. All right, so then I said, angels, what is your guidance? So, is your third eye open? That's the thing. So we have these two cards that are just about seeing, trusting your intuition, trusting your wisdom, trusting and having faith in your psychic ability, and remembering that psychic ability is not about seeing with fear. A lot of people mistake intuition, psychic abilities, mediumship even, with fear. They're going to tell me something scary. They're going to predict something awful. It's not true. If it is scary, they're not coming from the right place. It's filtering through their ego, because the fear is an illusion in this world. It's a negative. And when we open our third eye, we see with the truth. We see the truth. That includes being able to see angels. That includes being able to see spirit, being able to see auras. It's the truth. So truth isn't dark and demonic. It's love and light. So Archangel Muriel is making an offering, and it might be a good week for you to make an offering, like throw some flowers into a body of water, or make a little altar, or light a candle for the angels and the divine, and send love around the world. And I love that there's kind of wisps of smoke going up, because that represents our prayers going up to the divine. There's a full moon, and Muriel is saying to trust your inner wisdom and to have faith in your intuitive abilities. You are intuitive. You do know. You can see. I know you sometimes second guess it. I know you doubt it. I know that sometimes you think, I'm not as psychic as other people, but you can learn to strengthen it. And one step of that is trust. So trust your own wisdom. Trust where you feel called to go. Trust what you feel about things. Because when you second guess yourself, you're going, oh, nah, I'm just imagining it. You're sort of delaying and blocking and putting off. And that can be for the good or the bad, right? You might be thinking, oh, I don't feel like this situation is really good for me. Oh, I'm just being ungrateful. Oh, I'm just this, I'm just that. What if you were to trust the feelings that you're having, especially if they're repeated? There's something in that repetitive guidance speaking to you through your body, your vision, your intuition, what you hear, what you see, what you think. And we have this Archangel Dorenka, who I've never heard of before, but I'm going to look up, who is saying, develop your psychic abilities and see through the illusion. So this is a little bit of a connection to make sure that you're seeing past falsehood. You're not buying into ego and negativity, or someone who is sort of casting fear over you, whether that's coming from the news or from an individual, where they're saying, oh, this all is going to happen. Or we sometimes do it to ourselves, like we go into huge state of lack and scarcity. We're like, oh my gosh, this thing is going to happen to me, and I'm never going to be able to do it, or I'm never going to be the same again, or if I spend this money, there's no more coming in. We always act as if we're scarce, but that's an illusion. You're connected to infinite good. Remember this one straight at the beginning, infinite good. Stay away from the crazy, right? If anything's a bit way out, or it makes you feel icky, or we've got bats in this one. I love bats, and I love flying foxes we have in Australia. But I heard the word batshit crazy. Beep. So avoid anything that's a bit way out, because sometimes, you know, some spiritual stuff even wades out into the things that we don't need to know. Sometimes they're mental projections. Sometimes they come from illusion, or they come from fear. I call it spiritual entertainment. If it doesn't uplift your life, if it doesn't enhance your life, if it doesn't have a practical, you know, realistic, positive effect, meaningful, it's probably just entertainment. You know, there are things out there that are made up. There is also a lot of things that we don't know about, otherworldly stuff, but it's all in the realm of it's meaningful. Whereas if it's not meaningful, it's made up and it's making you feel not good about yourself, then it's probably just that, what I call spiritual entertainment. It's not meaningful. All right, final card. I got a deck of fairy cards last week and I'm really excited. The fairies delivered it with a butterfly in the middle of winter. How amazing. So here's my final card for you. It comes from this very tiny card of fairy cards, and it says manifestation. Remember that you are the master of your destiny. Working with the angels, you are unstoppable. You are needed and wanted in this life. You are loved. The angels love you. The divine love you. You're here for a purpose. Please remember that and remember your power. Stay open to the angels. Remember to ask for their help. I appreciate you so much for watching and listening. I post this every week, and I also post a card pick. So make sure you click like, subscribe, or follow whatever platform that you're on. And I'm inviting you to the Archangel Metatron event. It's Learn How to Work with Archangel Metatron and his Sacred Geometric Energy Cube. That is on July 18th. It's not very far away at all. And the early bird ends this week, around the 10th, 11th. So you can still save 20% and book in and join me for this 2-hour online workshop to work with Archangel Metatron, learn all about him, how to work with him, invoke him. And then I'm going to take you on a channeled soul journey to connect with him and receive a healing from the Sacred Geometric Cube. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Rachel Scoltock, and I will see you next time. Angel blessings. Have a beautiful week.